It was a town like any other. Neighbors waved, kids played, and life felt safe. The biggest news was a football game or a bake sale. People locked their doors more out of habit than fear. No one imagined true darkness could find its way here. But evil doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it waits in the shadows, just beyond the streetlights. When it strikes, it shatters peace, leaving behind a silence louder than any scream. This story begins on a street lined with neat houses and manicured lawns. Children's laughter filled the air. It was a sanctuary from the world's worries. But beneath that peaceful surface, something was about to go terribly wrong. A hidden darkness was stirring, ready to swallow one of their own. The year was 1989, in a small, unassuming town in the heartland. Life moved slowly. People knew each other's names and business. Trust was the foundation, until it was broken in the most brutal way. A shadow was falling over this idyllic landscape, stretching for years. The story that unfolded would become a chilling reminder. Evil can wear any face. To understand how a perfect suburban dream turned into a nightmare, we must go back to the ordinary days. It is in those quiet moments that the seeds of terror are sown, and it is there that we begin. Her name was Amy Mihaljevich, just 10 years old, a bright, happy girl with a love for horses. She lived with her parents, Mark and Margaret, in Bay Village, Ohio, a safe lakeside community. Amy was a good student, played violin, sang in the choir, and followed every rule her parents taught her. She was the last child you'd expect to fall victim to a predator. But predators are patient and clever, able to gain trust even from the cautious. Life for the Mihaljevichs was normal. School projects, family dinners, weekend trips. They had no idea someone was watching Amy, planning, waiting for the perfect moment. In the weeks before her disappearance, Amy began receiving phone calls from a man. He claimed to work with her mother and wanted to help Amy buy a gift for her mom's promotion. The man knew details about Amy's life, her school, her mother's schedule. He sounded friendly, trustworthy, and slowly lured her into his trap. Amy, wanting to do something nice for her mother, listened and trusted him. It was a fatal mistake, a mistake no 10-year-old should ever have to pay for. The Mihaljevichs were living their lives, unaware of the storm gathering just over the horizon. The calls were the first sign, but no one realized the danger until it was too late. Amy's innocence and kindness were used against her. The predator's plan was in motion, and the Mihaljevichs' world was about to be shattered. In a town built on trust, the unimaginable was about to happen. Amy's story would become a warning for every family. Sometimes, evil finds its way in, even when you do everything right. And sometimes, the girl next door is the one who pays the price. This is Amy's story. October 27, 1989, a cool, crisp Friday. Amy finished school and walked to a shopping plaza, planning to meet the man from the phone calls. The plaza was busy, filled with people and cars in broad daylight. Amy waited at the designated spot, excited about the secret gift for her mom. Two classmates saw her talking to a man, white, 30s or 40s, then watched her walk away with him. She wasn't forced. She went willingly, as if she trusted him. The classmates thought nothing of it, maybe a family friend. As evening fell, Amy's mother grew worried. Amy was never late. Calls to friends and neighbors turned up nothing. Panic set in. The police were called. News of Amy's disappearance spread quickly. How could this happen here? Volunteers searched parks and woods, calling her name into the night. The only answer was the rustling of autumn leaves. The man on the phone, the secret gift, the man in the parking lot. It all painted a terrifying picture. Amy hadn't run away. She had been taken. The nightmare had begun for the Mihaljevich family and their community. The search was on, but hope was already slipping away. In a single afternoon, the town's sense of safety was shattered. The darkness that crept in had claimed its first victim. And for Amy's family, nothing would ever be the same. The hunt for answers had only just begun. The shadow had fallen. Days turned into weeks, then months. The search for Amy became one of Ohio's largest. Her face was everywhere: posters, milk cartons, nightly news. The FBI joined the hunt, chasing thousands of leads. The Mihaljevic clung to hope, but the phone lines stayed silent. Winter was long and cold. Every knock or call brought hope and dread. The community held vigils, tying turquoise ribbons, Amy's favorite color, around trees. But as time passed, hope faded. Then, on February 8, 1990, a jogger found something in a remote field, 50 miles from Bay Village. It was Amy's body. The search ended in heartbreak. She had been killed shortly after her abduction. Her clothes and boots were still on. The secret gift was never bought. The man who lured her with kindness had stolen her life. The hope that sustained a family and community for 104 days was extinguished in an instant. Grief replaced hope, and the town was left with only questions. The nightmare was now a grim reality. Amy was gone. The discovery of Amy's body sent shockwaves through Bay Village. The hope of finding her alive was gone. Only horror remained. Parents clung to their children, trust shattered. Every stranger became a threat. Every unfamiliar car sparked fear. The innocence of the town was stolen, just as Amy's life had been. For Mark and Margaret, the pain was unimaginable. They had to bury their child. The media documented their sorrow. Their tragedy became the town's. The turquoise ribbons now symbolized remembrance, not hope. At Amy's school, counselors tried to help children process the tragedy. The murder forced an entire generation to grow up too fast. The carefree days were over, replaced by fear and vigilance. Neighborhood watch groups formed. Children no longer walked alone. The killer was still out there, a neighbor, a co-worker, anyone. The uncertainty was psychological torture for everyone. The shadow of a monster lingered, and no one knew where he might strike next. The investigation into Amy's murder became a relentless manhunt. The FBI and police had a few clues: a description, the phone calls, and evidence from the scene. Fibers and hairs were collected, preserved for future DNA testing. Thousands of tips poured in. Every lead was followed. Hundreds of men were interviewed, alibis checked, polygraphs administered. The killer was profiled as intelligent, cunning, and familiar with Bay Village. He had planned the abduction, gained Amy's trust, then vanished. Over the years, the case went cold but was never closed. Advances in DNA technology brought new hope, but no matches were found. The killer was not in the system, a ghost who stayed hidden. To this day, Amy's killer remains unidentified. The case is still active. The FBI offers a reward for information. More than 20,000 tips have been investigated, but no one has been charged. The man who took Amy has lived free for over 30 years. The Mihaljevic family lives with unending pain and unanswered questions. The hunt for justice continues. More than 3 decades have passed since Amy was taken. Bay Village has healed in some ways, but the scar remains. Amy's story is a cautionary tale for new generations. Her case changed how missing children are searched for. Faster, more coordinated responses. Amy's tragedy helped protect others. Her mother, Margaret, never recovered and passed away in 2001, her heart broken. Her father, Mark, still fights for justice, keeping Amy's memory alive. The case haunts investigators and true crime enthusiasts. Each new documentary or podcast brings fresh tips and theories. The DNA profile remains the best hope for resolution. For now, the killer is still a nameless shadow. Amy's legacy is one of loss, resilience, and a father's unwavering love. Until her killer is found, the shadow over Bay Village will never fully lift.